I was walking across the campus one day, and I saw my son, Gary, coming toward me. And he said to me, "Why can't you get a job like other mothers?" And I said, "We're in the same English class, but don't worry about it. We have different last names. They won't know I'm your mother."
Did they figure it out?
No.
Okay.
I have 130 hours of school. I love school. I love learning.
And how many schools did you say you went to?
Well, I went to Holland's Grammar School. I went to Austin High School. I went to Wright Junior College, Ocean Community College, and the Art Institute of Chicago.
All right. Okay. Where did you grow up?
Chicago, Illinois, the West Side.
So, and how long were you there until you moved to
Until
the
I
next
moved
place?
here. No, I moved to Tennessee first.
And then Philadelphia.
And then Philadelphia. Then here.
Okay, so are those all the places that you've lived?
Yes.
Okay.
Counting on you, Susie.
And how have you liked living in Fort Wayne?
It's been very good to me. People here are nice and kind and very Midwestern in their philosophy, which is be nice.
Yes.
So.
I like that too. And so do you remember when you moved to Fort Wayne?
No.
That's okay. We can check that later.
Dee will remember.
Okay. What are your parents' names?
Annette Kesselman and Robert Kesselman.
Do you know their middle names?
My mother didn't have a middle name.
Neither does she.
And Robert. I don't think so. I don't know.
That's okay.
I know his Jewish name was Isidore.
His Hebrew name?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Isidore.
What did he do for a living?
He was a liquor salesman.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's something that you'd like me to know about them or your relationship with them?
I tried to model myself after my father because everybody loved him. He was very kind. And I tried to remember not to be mean because my mother told me never trust a woman and always hate women. And I realized that she was nuts. And so my oldest girlfriend is from when I was like 9 years old. Lois Goldstein was Rakita. We met when we were like 7 or 8, I think, maybe, in Wisconsin. And we're still friends. And she married someone I graduated high school with. She married Mel Goldstein, and I graduated high school with him.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could ask about friends too. Who are some of your best friends?
Well, here my best friend is someone I talk to every morning when I wake up. I call her and say hi. And her family is here. And she lives alone in a big house that her son owns. Mm-hmm. And they take really good care of her. Janet Finkel is her name.
And what about Ruthie Robinson?
And Ruthie's from when I was how old? Oh my God, I was 10 years old or something, yeah.
And then Gary and Don became very good friends.
Yeah.
And who else am I thinking of? Eileen Schechter Barnes?
Eileen.
Barnes Schechter?
Yes, Eileen and her husband who came to the front door one day because he cut his thumb off in the machine, the lawnmower.
Oh my gosh.
And he came looking for his thumb.
Oh my goodness. I hope he found it.
He didn't.
No?
No.
Oh boy. That's a story.
I've got all these pictures on the wall if you want to see them.
Yeah, we can take a picture of that too after.
Okay, there's 2 walls to take pictures of. Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
That will give you more things to ask if you look at the pictures on the wall.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that too.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you wanted to share about your parents?
About my parents? My mother taught me that I could love women, even though she was a horrible person.
Mm.
And my father taught me that everybody could love you if you're kind.
I like that.
I mean, the city closed down when he died. I walked outside of the funeral home, and I saw the police there, and I said to them, "What's happened? What's the matter? What's happened in the city?" And the policeman said to me, "Bob Kesselman died." I said, "Why is the city closed?" He said, "Because everybody loved Bob Kesselman."
Wow.
It gave me the chills. Everybody loved him.
So how was he, like, in the community? Like, what did he do that people, like, knew him?
He played poker. He played poker and was nice to everybody he met. That's what he did.
Okay.
At Manny's Tavern, every day my mother would send me to go to Manny's to get him and tell him it's time to come home for dinner. He was
Is
playing
that
poker.
different from the Jewish deli Manny's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the Manny's I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. My next question is, what are your grandparents' names?
Bubbie Fanny was my father's mother, and Zadie Mitzenmacher, and they changed their last name to Mitzen, which still exists. They're in Chicago. Bubbie Fanny and Zadie Mitzenmacher, and Bubbie Deborah, who I called Bubbie Dodo, lived with us,
Okay.
and she slept on a hide-a-bed in the dining room when I was a child.
Was that your father's mother or your
My
mother's
mother's.
mother? Okay.
Bubbie Dodo. She was crippled, and she was blind in one eye. Apparently she had had an accident when she was young, and she went to the hospital, and somehow the people in the hospital blinded her in one eye.
Wow.
Right. Today she would have been a trillionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anything else, or any stories or anything else you wanted to share about grandparents?
About grandparents? I just always felt loved and cherished. I did. And we had a grocery store called Rotter's, a little grocery store that I would go to with my nickel to buy candy almost every day.
That's fun.
And when I would go there, there was a boy on the way. They would call me Dirty Jew.
Oh.
And I can remember saying to him, "If you call me that again, I'm going to poke your eyes out." And I can remember him calling me Dirty Jew and me putting my fingers in his eyes. I remember that. Yeah. And Leroy Rothhauser, who probably still lives in Chicago, lived in our building, and he was crazy and mean. He was the only person I was ever afraid of. He was cuckoo. Go ahead.
Well, I remember when you used to take me to the dollar store when I was a kid. I always loved that.
Dollar Tree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned a couple grandparents. Did you want to talk about the other ones, or?
Well, my mother was. Mother's mother was Deborah, Bubbie Dodo. I called her Bubbie Dodo, and she lived with us. And then my father's, and there was cousin Leona, and her family. I used to go to my grandmother's house and sit at the window and drink a glass of water, or I don't think pop, probably orange juice, and sit at the window and watch people walk back and forth at my Bubbie's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just always felt loved.
That's good. Well, I always feel loved by you too, so.
It's because I love you.
You're passing it along. All right. What are your siblings' names?
Mickey, who I talk to every single morning. I'm 10 years older than him. Ronnie, who was 2 years younger than Mickey.
Do you have any funny stories or anything to share about them?
When Mickey was little, I used to put things in his crib for him to play with that probably would be killing him if he was able to pick them up and put them in his mouth. I think about that. And I can remember Mickey peeing up and like hitting my father who was laying in bed. His crib was next to my parents' bed.
That's funny.
Yeah.
If you'd like to share, what were your spouses' names, and any stories about them?
I got married when I was 19 because all my friends were getting married. And that was David Cohn, who I can tell you a funny story about. He got upset one day and threw 2 pounds of Velveeta cheese through across this long kitchen window, and went out the window, and my downstairs neighbor came up and she said, "I think cheese just fell out your window." He threw it.
That's silly.
He had a bad temper.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I made a decision, if he ever hit me, I would get divorced.
Yeah.
And years went by, and he pushed me down, and I went to a lawyer the next day.
I'm sorry that happened. And good for you.
Yeah.
And you had 3 children with him.
Lori, Gary, Sharon. Go ahead.
Did you want to share about any other spouses or?
Ronnie Stein was another spouse.
And then Dylan was born from that marriage.
Yep.
Yeah. He was just very handsome, and I fell in love with handsome.
Yeah.
And then Larry Cooper.
Larry Cooper was wonderful. In fact, Larry Cooper called me not too long ago.
Oh.
By not too long ago, I mean like 2 months ago, and told me he was coming up this way. Could I see him? And I said, "Are you still married?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Then I think not." Apparently, I'm hard to forget.
And then David Corns.
Oh, I forgot about him. Yeah, I fell in love with his mind. He was brilliant.
Okay. Cool. What are your children's names? I think you just named them.
Lori, Gary, Sharon, Diana.
Middle names? Do you know?
Lori Gale. Gary William.
Sharon Rose.
Sharon Rose. Diana Ellen.
Okay.
You better be giving me a copy of this.
Yeah, we can, yeah. Okay. And how about, grandchildren or great-grandchildren? I know me. Stephanie, Michelle, and then obviously we have Ziva, Maya, Lila. And now we've got 2 new littles with John and Nicole. And
those are great-grandchildren, right?
yes, grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
So you have Stephen and John from Sharon. And you have Michelle and Stephanie from me and Gary.
I'm going to get a copy of this.
And then Ziva, Maya, and Lila from Michelle and Seth. And then, like Stephanie said, from...
Steffi, get up and go look at the pictures that are on the wall in there.
Yeah, we will.
We can do that next. But
Wesley and Nell.
Okay.
A lot of kiddos. What is something special to you about your grandchildren and great-grandchildren?
That they're a blessing.
Okay.
That they're a blessing. That I'm lucky. Makes me feel lucky. I also was raised with dogs in the house. We always had dogs.
It's a good question. Pets.
One day when I was little, my father came home with like 7 dogs and said to my mother, "Pick one."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Princess Cinderella Delight. That was her name.
What kind of dog?
Cocker Spaniels.
Aw.
We always had Cocker Spaniels.
Cute.
Yeah.
How many did you have?
Many. I don't know, 10.
At once?
No.
Over
one
a
at a time. No. He had to bring back the other ones.
Okay.
And we had one that when the doorbell rang, he licked the wall. And so we had no wallpaper on that wall.
Oh, that's funny.
Seriously, he licked the paper off the wall.
And I know you had some cats. When did you start having cats?
When I was married. We didn't have cats when I was a child. That I can remember, yeah.
Have you had any other animal pets?
Horses. Then I learned to ride.
When she lived in Tennessee.
Cool.
Yeah, I had horses.
How old were you when you lived in Tennessee?
She got divorced from David and then married Ronnie, and they moved to Tennessee. I don't know what year though. Gary was.
We could call Gary and D would.
Gary was in college, so like he was.
What? How old were you when you had Gary? If you know.
Lori, Gary, Sharon. I was 19 when Lori was born, right? I got married at 19, and a few months later I had Lori.
Gary was born in 58.
Is it so recording? Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. What do you know? What year that each kid was born? We can check later if not. I'm just asking.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Okay. And so are there any other
What are you doing this for?
I'm gonna collect some information about our family history and like personal stories that people want to share for me to remember and just for other family members, like for Ziva when she's older.
Okay, well the thing to know about me was that I was raised to be a tomboy. I used to keep, in my bedroom, I kept peas because I had a pea shooter. And one day I looked up and there were things flying all over. The peas had become animals. But my room was full of little bugs flying all over.
The bugs probably came to eat the peas.
Yep. That's funny.
But I also had a beautiful dressing table. A very feminine, beautiful dressing table. Blue and white. It was beautiful.
Did you have a lot of art in your house when you grew up?
We had some.
I know you love art now.
Yeah.
How did you get like interested in making art?
I took an art class and found that I loved making art. So.
And
like
she volunteered, yeah, just like that one. She volunteered at the art museum too. That's how much she loved art.
Yeah, you did that for a long time with the kids.
I love teaching kids about art and having them feel comfortable not liking pieces. That it's okay, you don't have to like everything.
That's a good lesson.
Yeah, you don't have to like everything you see.
Okay, so is there any more information, stories, maybe fun facts about family members?
I was a tomboy. My father bought his boss's son's bike for me for $5, a red boy's bike. I'll never forget it. That I used to have to stand on the curb to get on because I was too little. So I learned how to throw my leg over and get on a boy's bike. I enjoyed being a tomboy. I enjoyed being the toughest kid on the block, except Jerry Rothhauser was tougher than me. He scared me to death. I can remember sitting on, my parents lived in a second floor apartment, and I can remember sitting on the stairs watching them. I pretended to run away from home. And so I sat on the stairs to watch them to see that they were not at all concerned that I'd run away from home. And I finally went back in the house. I remember having milk delivered. In the wintertime, it would freeze and it would pop up the cover. Do you remember that? We would have milk delivered, and in the winter, the milk would freeze and it would push the cover up.
Huh. That's funny.
Yeah. We had a red table, and I learned to love red.
Is that your favorite color?
Yes. Yeah.
And you used to have a red car.
I had 14 red cars.
I remember the red convertible.
I've had many red convertibles.
Yes. What was your favorite car that you had?
Red. What was my favorite car?
Your favorite car, yeah.
I had a Mercedes convertible. A red Mercedes convertible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Switching gears. What are some values that you learned growing up, and or from family, and did they stick with you, and why or why not?
Okay, the most important value I learned is kindness, and I learned that from my father when I realized that the city of Chicago closed down when he died because they loved him, and he loved him because he was kind.
Yeah.
My mother tried to teach me to hate women,
Mm-hmm.
and I found out she lied and made my best friends were women because my mother lied.
Yeah.
And no, I didn't trust her, but I did learn from her. And I think I learned from my father to give everyone an opportunity and to try and find the best in people.
Mm-hmm.
And I stay very much away from people that are mean.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was mean.
Mm-hmm.
My brother Mickey called me one day and said to me, Mom passed. Did I tell you this already?
I don't think so.
Okay, Mickey called me and said to me, Mom passed. And I said, I've got a black dress. I'll be in the city tomorrow. And he said, she passed her driver's test, Marlene. This is a true story. This is a true story. Mom passed. I have a black dress. I'll come in tomorrow. She passed her driver's test, Marlene. Okay. My mother started driving when she was 11 years old. She was born and raised in Taylor, Texas. Not Tyler, Taylor, Texas. Okay. And she drove when she was 11.
Was that allowed?
Apparently. She drove.
There probably weren't even rules back then. I'm assuming. I mean, it was a long, long time ago.
And my brother Mickey years later went to Texas to meet relatives. The Cinnamons.
Do we still have family in Texas?
Yeah, I think we do. Mm-hmm. Cinnamons. And so Mickey would know more than me if you want to know more about that. And Mickey knocked on their door and said, they opened up the door and he said, I'm Annette's boy. And his cousin said, oh, I thought you were some Jew peddler. Nice. Yes, go ahead.
Wow.
Right.
Okay, what did you want to be when you were younger?
I think I wanted to be a teacher.
And what did you end up doing? Either for work or otherwise?
I became a salesperson where I could make money and save it because I realized money is power. Mm-hmm. And so I learned to make money and to save it into accounts under Gary's Social Security number.
What would you like to do in the future?
Live.
What do you want to do, like, when you're living?
Maybe paint some more.
Yeah.
And help here.
Mm-hmm.
Teach people. Maybe go back to the art museum.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And Dee is very kind to me. She's really a kind person. Where the hell she came from?
You're pretty kind yourself.
But I have to think about it.
You worked at the hospital for a long while.
I volunteered for years.
You volunteered?
Years and years.
You only volunteered there? I thought you worked there.
I did work there.
Oh, okay.
Lutheran Hospital.
Okay.
I was head of the volunteers.
Yeah. At Lutheran General?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was born.
Lutheran Hospital in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
It's right across the street from here.
I've got the ticket right there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. What is something you would like your descendants to know or remember about you?
That I did my best, and I tried new things, and I was willing to fail.
And you loved all people.
And I loved everybody. I don't care
Love.
I don't care what color they are.
Size, shape, color, orientation, nothing.
Yeah. I learned a little Spanish so that I could talk to people in Spanish. I was in the jail in Mexico. Somebody stole from us.
Wow.
And somebody stole from us, and so we had to go to the jail. And I can remember walking in this big desk and a gun on the desk.
Oh.
And the guy behind the desk, the head of police, said, "Vamonos." And I said, "I want to report a thief." And he said, "Vamonos." Okay, we're out of here. Get out. Spanish. You understand Spanish.
It was that the trip that you got the Nearman?
I don't remember which trip.
This picture?
There's another Nearman in my...
in your room?
No, I think I bought that Nearman in Chicago.
Oh, really?
There's another one in the bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, you always had good taste in art.
I love art.
So you were in Mexico. Were you on a vacation?
Yes.
Did you like to go? Did you travel a lot? Did you go on a lot of trips?
Yes.
What were some of your favorite trips?
Mexico.
Maybe not that one.
Spain.
Spain.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I could speak a little Spanish, so that helped.
Where else have you visited?
London. I like England. Good history.
Cool. I've never been there. But I've been to Mexico and Spain. Not London.
You'd like London.
Yeah, I feel like I would. It seems like a cool place.
Just make sure when you go that it's not the rainy season.
Oh, I feel like it's always rainy from what I hear.
Well, not always.
Okay. I'll do some research. What are some things that are unique or notable about your family's culture or customs? If there's something you can...
My father's kindness stands out to me. How everybody loved him. How the city of Chicago closed for a man that never made more than $20,000 a year in his life. Because he was so kind and they loved him so much.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
He must have made an impact on a lot of people.
He apparently did. People loved him.
Did that surprise you? Or were you like, oh, obviously?
That's what I was raised with.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loved him. And I can remember going to art school. And my father decided to go to art school. And the teacher says, and I'm killing myself to be a good artist. And the teacher says, and a natural is Bob Kesselman. I mean, his work was not good. But he was a natural.
Okay.
A natural is Bob Kesselman. Okay. We had a picture hanging in the living room my mother called Woman with Her Period. It had red going down it. From him, my father did. Woman with Her Period. Go ahead.
What is a fun fact about yourself?
That I work very hard to always be kind.
Yes, you do. If you know, when did your family come to America and from where?
Russia and Poland, I believe. Russia and Poland.
Do you know when they came?
1900.